Elon Musk says that currently we are in a very dangerous situation and very soon robots will do every single job, every profession that you are planning to make money with. But now Tesla CEO made new terrifying revelations about Japan, about how it's already too late, how the math is very clear, and how Japan will soon disappear. Because there is simply not enough people working anymore, and this country did this to itself. But there's more. Elon Musk even proposed that right now, a very integral part of Northeast Asia might cease to exist. The worst situation is with Japan. What's even more strange is that Elon is not saying that there is terrible climate catastrophe that's coming for Japan, or all-out nuclear threat from North Korea and China. No, Musk released his analysis of Japan's population number, and according to X's CEO, Japan soon will not exist. For a bit of context, Musk replied to Twitter user NotTheBee, who posted a census survey of Japan. The post stated that Japan's birth rate had hit a historic low, with more than 2 people dying for every single baby born. Musk saw it as a warning sign of collapse. This isn't just about numbers, it's a full-blown demographic crisis. Japan's population is shrinking fast, and Musk is pointing to the obvious. When there's not enough young people, the entire system begins to fall apart. Workforces shrink, economies stall, social services crack under pressure. Musk didn't hold back. He said that if this trend continues and something doesn't change, then Japan could disappear as a functioning society. That's how serious the situation is. Then Musk added, at the risk of stating the obvious, unless something changes to cause the birth rate to exceed the death rate, Japan will eventually cease to exist. This would be a great loss for the world. This was the biggest drop in recorded history since the 1950s. And this isn't the first time Musk has sounded the alarm. He's been warning about declining birth rates for years, calling it one of the biggest existential threats to civilization. In his view, countries like Japan, highly advanced but aging fast, are on a dangerous path, a path that threatens innovation, survival, and long-term stability. A number of factors can contribute to this decline in population. The most obvious one, of course, is aging population, a steadily aging society which hosts less of the younger demographic. Japan's population crisis is spiraling out of control, and the numbers paint a brutal picture. In 2023, the collapse got worse. Births fell again to 758,631, while deaths hit a new record, 1,590,503. The natural decrease widened to about 831,872, and now early 2024 data is even more alarming. Preliminary figures show just 720,988 births, and the death toll has exploded to 1,618,684. That means Japan lost almost 897,700 people in a single year. This isn't just a slow decline, it's a demographic collapse. Births have dropped over 10% in just 2 years, and now they've fallen to less than half of what they were during Japan's post-war baby boom. Meanwhile, deaths are hitting all-time highs year after year. At this pace, Japan isn't shrinking, it's hemorrhaging, and the trajectory is terrifying. From a peak of around 125 million, the population is on track to drop by nearly 30% by 2065 unless something massive changes. And if the birth rate doesn't recover, Japan won't just be older, it'll be empty. Here's something interesting to point out. This issue isn't just regional anymore. It is becoming a global issue, underpopulation, one which Musk has been concerned about for quite a while. Elon Musk has made it clear. His mission is to send humans to Mars by the late 2020s. That's been his goal from the start. However, underpopulation is threatening to his Mars mission. SpaceX's Starship isn't just built for test flights, it's designed to carry hundreds of people at a time with a long-term plan to build a full-scale, self-sustaining colony. Musk doesn't just want a research outpost, he envisions an actual Martian city, a real functioning civilization with up to 1 million people living on Mars before the end of this century. But now there's a major problem. According to Musk, if there aren't even enough people to inhabit Earth in this case, how can there be enough amount of people who will inhabit Mars in the near future? He said it himself. We should be much more worried about population collapse. If there aren't enough people for Earth, there definitely won't be for Mars. This isn't just a side concern. Musk sees it as a direct threat to the survival of the species, and the population crisis is no longer just a Japan problem. It's spreading fast, and even the most densely populated regions in the world, like India and China, are going through a sharp decrease in population. In 2023, the Chinese government statistics revealed that its population shrank for the second year in a row. The numbers are staggering: 9.02 million births, but 11.1 million deaths. That's a net loss of over 2 million people, confirmed by the National Bureau of Statistics. It's the lowest birth rate China has ever recorded. just 6.39 births per 1,000 people, and the drop from just a decade ago is dramatic. About this issue, Musk tweeted, "China is headed for population collapse, and there isn't enough foreign labor on Earth to replace the roughly 600 million people per generation that will be lost in China." Even after scrapping the one-child policy and rolling out cash incentives to encourage families, it's not working. Young Chinese are simply opting out. They're pointing to unaffordable living costs, unstable job markets, and overwhelming social pressure. And demographers are now warning if this trend doesn't reverse, China could lose half its population by the end of the century. Furthermore, if we look at countries in Europe, Italy for example, Italy's fertility rate has plunged to just 1.22 children per woman, way below the 2.1 needed just to keep the population stable. The government's not ignoring it. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has called it a national emergency, promising pro-family tax cuts and new financial support programs. But experts are clear. Unless Italy fixes deeper issues like youth unemployment and unaffordable childcare, this collapse won't stop. That's why Musk tweeted, "Italy will have no people if these trends continue." What's happening in China and Italy is part of something much bigger. More than 60 countries around the world now have birth rates below replacement level. And this isn't just a numbers issue. It's a long-term threat to global economic stability, workforce sustainability, and generational balance. And if all this isn't enough evidence, let's explain how serious this is and how SpaceX CEO isn't playing around when he talks about a population collapse. A groundbreaking study from 2020 published in The Lancet by researchers at the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation paints a dramatic picture of what's coming. According to the study, the world's population is expected to peak at 9.7 billion in 2064 and then begin falling, dropping to around 8.8 billion by 2100. That shift would be unprecedented, and the collapse won't be minor. Over 23 countries, including Japan, Italy, South Korea, and Spain, are projected to see their populations cut in half by the end of the century due to persistently low fertility rates. Even giants like China aren't immune. China is expected to drop from 1.4 billion to just 730 million by 2100, and India, after a short increase, is projected to follow a similar path. The implications are enormous. IHME's lead author, Professor Christopher Murray, didn't hold back. It's incredibly hard to sustain economic growth with declining populations. Shrinking workforces will stretch pension systems to their breaking point. Innovation will slow, governments will be forced to pour money into elderly care while facing fewer and fewer taxpayers to fund it. And the UN is echoing the same warning. According to the 2022 World Population Prospects Report, over two-thirds of the global population now lives in countries with fertility rates below replacement level. That means we're already past the tipping point in most regions. Unless there are massive shifts in migration policy, technological breakthroughs, or birth rate incentives, entire regions are at the risk of falling into what researchers now call demographic traps. And that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe.